We are aesthetics CU still excited for our third and last part, which is Environmental Auditing Part 3. In Part 3, we will be covering on the Competence and Evaluation, guidelines, procedure, and ways to add values in environmental auditing. Here we go! Now, let's move to the environmental auditors. Who are the environmental auditors and what are the requirements for becoming a competent person in environmental auditing? Environmental auditors is responsible for auditing the environmental policies and procedures of a company, agency or business, and setting up protocols for better implementation of environmental policy and standards. The basic requirements in order to become an environmental auditor is to have several years work experience in environmental compliance or bachelor degrees in one of the following: environmental management, environmental engineering, environmental science, environmental assessment, and natural resources management. Certified environmental auditor must register as environmental auditor based on requirement under Section 33A, Environmental Quality Act 1974, Amendments 1996. An environmental auditor also needs strong organizational skills, leadership abilities, communication skills, and report writing abilities. It is helpful to have a working knowledge of environmental management systems such as ISO 14001, waste and wastewater management law, statistics, and accounting. Next, we move to the guidelines of environmental auditing that consists of 7 steps. First is the development of an audit plan. The audit plan should address 5 components, which is where, what, how, who, and when. Where audit site and boundary width overview, what scope and objective of audit, how site personnel interview, site inspection, audit protocols, site logistic and administrative arrangement, who audit team and site facilitation arrangement, and when the audit schedule and milestone. Second is review background information to gain familiarity with audit site through review of site layout plans, site history, use and activities, organizational structure at audit sites, and internal environmental policies, procedures, and guidelines. Third is conduct initial site visit to arrange with the site facilitators for an initial visit during normal operation of audit site, to meet with the officer in charge to explain purpose of audit, assess whether background information gathered is up to date and accurate, follow up on the list of preliminary audit impressions, identify and request additional site information as necessary, confirm trueness of audit scope, and establish the adequacy of resources for the audit. Fourth is prepare pre-audit questionnaire. To prepare questionnaire and document checklist on the hard issues and the soft issues. Fifth is review operational information to gain appreciation of site activities and operational practices on site through review of operational activities and process descriptions, management system policies, procedures and program documentation, relevant records, other relevant information pertaining to environmental management practices. 6 is develop on-site questionnaire and audit protocols to develop a series of step-by-step questions and evaluation criteria to assess. 7 is review audit plan and arrange logistics. All documents and arrangements should be updated or revised to reflect current knowledge and conditions. Next is the procedure. In the audit procedure, it consists of 5 stages that can be followed. First one is scheduled audit. The process of an environmental audit starts with an organizational environmental management representative (EMR) scheduling audits at appropriate specific projects requirements. And environmental managers can determine how frequently the audit should be performed through consultation with the relevant government agencies. Second is planned audit. Environmental audit is for the EMR to establish and document the area or contractor to be audited, the reason and scope of the audit, and the contact names of emergency cases for the audit. Besides that, the EMR must also appoint and notify a qualified lead auditor or audit member if required. Hence, if warranted, the EMR can appoint themselves as the lead auditor. Third is to conduct the audit. All relevant personnel in the audit team should meet to discuss the scope of the audit, the proposed audit agenda, the audit objective, any project personnel that need to be contacted or interviewed, and a tentative time to hold the exit meeting. Four is to develop an audit report or action plan. The environment audit team needs to prepare a report based on all the objective evidence that was collected during the audit. The report must be forwarded to the contractor within 2 days of completion of the audit. The final report must be distributed to the auditor, contractor, independent reviewer, and environmental auditor, the state, and all other relevant personnel. Lastly, audit follow-up. The EMR will follow up on the closing out of any remaining contract items by the contractor. In conclusion, it can be done separately and can even be done whenever the next relevant audit takes place, depending on how significant the finding is. Next part is the ways to add value to the environmental auditing and the conclusion. Environmental auditing, whether internal or external, can add value specifically by updating senior management on environmental performance, especially in relation to significant risks or implications for the strategic issues. We can also confirm that the organization has robust processes in place for ensuring compliance, resulting in better relationships with the regulators. We also can establish areas for potential improvement in environmental performance, which also can help to increase the efficiency, cost saving, and enhance the compliance. Apart from that, we can also provide the basis for reliable and transparent reporting of performance and raising the awareness of relevant environmental issues and guiding them to improve it. In short, environmental auditing play an important role to ensure the organization fulfill their policy commitment, improve management awareness of environmental issues, and cost minimization by improving environmental performance. Now, let us look at the recap part 3. Competence and Evaluation. Environmental auditors can be considered competent and should have experience in the environmental auditing field. Besides that, another criteria are he or she has bachelor's degree in a related field, is a holder of professional certification, and has a working knowledge of EMS. Next, there are 7 guidelines for environmental auditing, which are: first, developing an audit plan; second, reviewing background information; third, conducting an initial site visit; fourth, preparing a pre-audit questionnaire; fifth, reviewing operational information; sixth, developing on-site questionnaire; and 7, reviewing audit plan. On the other hand, the audit process starts with scheduling, planning, and developing an audit report and action plan. Last but not least, The ways to add value to environmental auditing consist of updating senior management on environmental performance, establishing areas for improvement in environmental performance, and providing the basis for reliable and transparent reporting performance. Now, we move to the short quiz. For the first question, in order to become an environmental auditor, one should have a degree in A. Human Development and Management, B. Accounting, C. Environmental Engineering, and D. Business Administration. The answer is C. Environmental Engineering. For second question, there are steps in guidelines for environmental auditing. A. 7, B. 5, C. 9, and D. 8. The answer is A. 7. For the third question, first step in audit procedure is A. Plan audit, B. Schedule audit, C. Audit follow-up, and D. Conduct audit. The answer is B. Schedule audit. That's all from us. We appreciate your determination to stay until the end from part 1, 2, and 3. We hope you learn an awful lot about environmental auditing. Until next time, thank you and bye-bye.